Welcome back everyone to the channel. So today I want to talk about some absolutely despicable reporting going on by the MSN online. Now this story I'm going to talk about rears its head every now and then when Nigel Farage starts to rise in popularity, and it looks like they've been keeping it on the back burner for the last 12 months. Now the MSN are reporting once again that former students and teachers of Nigel Farage's, when he was all the way back in high school, that Farage used to do Nazi salutes, he used to do Nazi chants, and today they're talking about how he used to say now that foreigners should go home. Now I was part of the United Kingdom Independence Party, better known as UKIP, back in 2014 and 2015 where I stood for local election. Now I first remember hearing about this in 2015 leading up to the general election, when it was looking like UKIP was going to do what Reform did and stop the Tories getting into power, and it did have a massive impact then. If I remember rightly, it was the head teacher of the school, or one of the teachers, did a story saying that Farage used to, I think it was parade round and do Nazi chants with other pupils following him. Well, now they've gone into much more detail. So I want to read a little bit of this story on MSN, and then I want to give you my thoughts about it. So it starts off by saying people who were at school with the Reform UK leader Nigel Farage claim he displayed offensive behaviour as a boy, including giving Nazi salutes and making racial slurs. The Clacton MP, who potentially could be the next Prime Minister, and that's exactly why they're running this story, as his party leads in the opinion polls, denies the allegations that he used racist and anti-Semitic, because let's be honest, they've got to throw it all in. Every single keyword they can, just about to cover everybody. So it can't just be anti-Semitic. He's asking people to go home. That would make you think he's talking about Muslims, racist slurs, Nazi behaviour, anti-Semitic. Just make sure that you cover just about anybody who could be offended. Well, let's carry on. He suggests that the paper was attempting to smear Reform UK. One former student at Dulwich College in South London told The Guardian he felt humiliated by the anti-Semitic words of 13-year-old Mr Farage, who allegedly also urged pupils overseas heritage to go home. Peter Ettigu, now an award-winning director and producer, told the paper he would saddle up to me and growl, "Hitler was right, gas them," sometimes adding a long hiss to simulate the sound of the gas shower. He added I wasn't his only target. I'd hear him calling other students, I can't repeat them words, but it starred out, and urging them to go home. I tried to ignore him, but it was humiliating and shaming. Well, let's just stop there for a minute. If this behaviour was reported to any school, let's be honest, Farage would have been suspended, and there's never been any mention of Farage being suspended. He carried on and said Mr Farage could suddenly become charming, adding, I'd like to know why he's never owned up or shown the slightest contrition. A second pupil from a minority ethnic background claimed that Mr Farage was 17. He asked where the pupil was from and pointed away, saying that's the way back. Professor Dave Edmonds, 61, another Jewish ex-pupil. Have you noticed that all of the people who are coming forward saying it are migrants? That's quite interesting. It'd be interesting to see as we read on whether there's actually anybody native to this country saying it. And the reason I say migrants is not because I think they're saying it because they're a migrant, but because a lot of migrants tend to lean left. These are professional people in jobs that tend to, again, lead left. And if they believe the mainstream media that Farage is a racist, that would definitely give them a reason to want to smear Farage even more. The Guardian said he had a strong memory of Mr Farage using the W word for what he now called people Afro-Caribbean, and the P word for those from Asian origin. So like I said, Farage just insults everyone from every single background. So now got Africans, Asians, We've got Jews. Let's see if we can get any more Farage to talk about. I don't remember being on the receiving end of the anti-Semitic remarks, though of course he made outrageous comments about the war. I don't think Jews were his main racial. He was generally obsessed, and he is now with the erosion of Britishness. But some pupils told The Guardian that he was bumptious, rude, prerogative, and enjoyed being the centre of attention. Maybe that is true of Farage. I'm sure he was a bit of a rebel who enjoyed the attention. I'm sure he was a bit of a bad boy at school. They did not remember him using racial language. So let's take a look at that. People here saying Farage wasn't the best character, but don't remember him using racist language. Now, I want you all to think back when you was in high school. If you'd had a pupil at school who said those type of things, named all those nicknames up for all those different races of people, hissed at Jewish people to mimic the gas chambers, you're telling me there'd be one single pupil who wouldn't remember Mr. Farage saying them things? Absolutely not. What would be interesting if any of these articles that talk about this could actually give the numbers of how many people they spoke to at the school to get these free, that's all it is so far, free individuals to say this about Nigel. These free individuals over a 5-year period. There is no evidence that Mr. Farage has ever been a member of far-right organisations, nor is there a suggestion that he holds the views ascribed to him as a boy. So they're just covering themselves there after doing the damage. In legal letters to The Guardian, he questioned the public interest in reporting on historic allegations. A Reform UKIP spokesman said the allegation entirely without foundation. The Guardian has produced no correspondence, records or evidence to support the disputed recollections from nearly 50 years ago. So, what do you think of this story? So first of all, I think it is 110% totally made up. No ifs or buts. But obviously, I wasn't there. And do kids say stupid things? Of course they do. And if it was just one allegation, if it was just one thing that Farage called a coloured person the N-word when he was at school, or the P-word from somebody from Pakistan, maybe it would be believable. Kids say stupid things. But when they go over African Americans, they talk about Jews, they talk about Asian people, he makes hissing noises for the gas chambers and talks how Hitler was right. We've heard stories of a head teacher talking about how he would chant Nazi salutes, yet they didn't suspend him for doing any of these things. To me, it's absolutely rubbish, but we know why they're doing it. They're doing it because the desperation that they have at the moment to get rid of Farage, you can't underestimate it. I seriously fear for Nigel Farage coming up to the 2029 general election. We saw what happened in America when Donald Trump was smeared with untrue allegations against him. Somebody took a shot at him, 2 people. There was actually 3 attempts altogether, as what we know of so far. It's rumoured that there's been many, many more. Can you imagine if something like that happens to Nigel Farage because some lunatic hears these things, that this guy's going to be the next Adolf Hitler, he believes in gassing Jews, and now he's going to be the Prime Minister of still one of the most powerful countries in the world. And it makes you wonder if the people who do these stories actually truly want something like this to happen. Now, we have seen the UK government taking up this story all of a sudden. David Lammy came out and made reference to these allegations. He quickly had to apologise and backtrack. Starmer has made off-the-cuff comments, but watch how desperate the Labour Party goes, especially if they get a new left-wing Labour leader like an Angela Rayner. They will double, triple, quadruple down on these accusations against Nigel Farage. And what I want to ask you today, and please do comment and engage if you would, because I'm really, really intrigued to hear what you have to say. Number 1, do you believe it's true? I don't. Number 2, will it have an impact with the voters? Now, with number 1, I'm 100% confident. Number 2, I'm about 60-70% confident it won't have much impact. However, However, there is a lot of middle down the road voters who can be scared off from extreme language very, very quickly and suddenly fall back to the establishment parties. So it isn't beyond the realm of possibility, but we are going to see more and more of this stuff. And can I ask you all, first of all, thank you so much. We've just hit 6,000 subscribers. This channel is quite amateur. It's me and my iPhone yabbling on, and it's amazing to think that 6,000 of you have subscribed. If you haven't already, please do subscribe, and we've got some exciting news coming next week with some new fantastic merch, what's going to be on sale with our new website